I know you gonna dig this.
Get funky with me.
The word started passing. I guess somebody got news from the outside that a plane hit a building or something to do with a plane, and we needed to evacuate. So we took the stairs all the way down, 42 flights.
You think the worst when you hear that. I mean, when your plane crashes into the building today, oh my God, you know, that's never happened here. And I was all very thankful to see a small plane sticking out of a window when I got here, to tell you the truth.
Go ahead, sir.
Do you know what building it was he flew into?
Bank of America building, about 2/3 of the way up the building.
Roger, thanks.
No secondary fire at this time.
Roger, thanks.
What's going on, everybody? How are you doing today? So here I am in downtown Tampa, Florida, one of my favorite cities, a beautiful city. I'm showing you some shots of downtown during the opening here. And I did show you that Go Bolts sign. There's another one there, Go Bolts. You guys got a t-shirt on right now, jogging by me with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're a professional hockey team here. They play in the NHL. And so does a team called the Toronto Maple Leafs, who I have a long relationship with and somewhat of a dysfunctional relationship with. And the Tampa Bay Lightning are public enemy number one in Toronto. So I do not endorse this sign, Go Bolts, but I do love you, Tampa. But I do not endorse this. I'm here in downtown Tampa to talk about a serious subject, actually, and I'm going to try to figure out where the best shot I can get. This is the building right here, the Bank of America Financial Tower here in downtown Tampa. Now, I think we all remember where we were for certain events. I was thinking about this while I was driving down here. That's my earliest, like, I'm talking world-changing events, big either world-changing events or pop culture events. The Challenger disasters, probably the earliest thing I remember being, it was like recess or a break during classes. We were outside, we heard about it, we came back in, and they had it all on the news for us. That is probably my earliest memory of a giant event that shook the world. I'm going to try to get across now. And Princess Diana's death, huge. Another one would be Michael Jackson's death. I think we all remember where we were when we heard Michael Jackson's death, the most famous man in the world. Princess Diana, the most famous woman in the world. Now, September 11th, 2001, if you were around, if you were alive, I know I have some younger viewers, and maybe you weren't alive, which is crazy to think of, when September 11th happened. But it did. Yes, so sorry, there was a bit of traffic going by at that point. I'm going to cross down here. Now, all of us remember where we were on September 11th, 2001, right? I'm going to try to get out of this wind too. We all remember where we were. Now, I'm from Canada. I was in Canada at the time, and specifically Toronto, and everything shut down. Everything shut down. But we all remember those images. We all remember either hearing that it was happening or we were watching it live. And it was horrifying, it was scary, it was heartbreaking. I get a little choked up even just thinking about that day and thinking about the people that we lost and how brutal and awful that attack was. So in the comments of this video, if you want, write where you were on September 11th, 2001 and what you saw, you know, how it affected you. I'll try to read every comment. always do. And I remember after my mother phoned me, woke me up, said put on the TV. I put on the TV, and it was just before the second plane crashed. And you sat glued to your TV all day in shock and in horror. I walked to work that day, and it was like a ghost town. Toronto, a major city, a ghost town. Not a lot of people know, though, that there was another plane in January of 2002 that flew into a building right here in downtown Tampa. And that was a scary situation for everybody here in Tampa. And I think at the time it made headlines, but it's been forgotten. But I'm going to talk about that plane right now, and I'm looking at the building. I've just discovered this is not the best angle to show you the Bank of America Tower because of this giant tree, so I'm going to go around it. But this is the angle I'm looking for, I'm pretty sure. Now this is pretty much the angle that I'm looking for where the plane hit, on the 28th floor. Because in the pictures I have and video, that building is very prominent, and it looks like that building. I think that building might be newish, but there it is right there. What's crazy and sad about this case is the pilot. It was a small plane, a Cessna 172, not a plane guy, but Cessna 172, I believe it was. He was 15 years old, and he stole a plane. He was going to school up in Tarpon Springs High School he went to. His name is Charles Bishop, and he was taking flying lessons, and, well, his instructor left the plane for a moment while they were on the runway. Now it's hard to tell which is the 28th floor, but we're going up pretty high. Right where the sun's kind of glaring, that would be roughly the 28th floor. So it's January 5th, 2002. He was 15 years old, like I said, Charles Bishop. And his flight instructor, so he was taking flying lessons. His flight instructor left him at the plane to perform like some, basic inspections of the plane that you would do. But once he was left alone inside the plane, Charles Bishop started the engine and took off without permission. Now, as soon as the plane took off, the air traffic controllers alerted the United States Coast Guard and the Air Force Base near here, MacDill Air Force Base. And despite repeated warnings from a helicopter dispatched by the Coast Guard, the plane continued until it crashed in just right in between the 28th and 29th floor, so just right up above there.
Currently sending a Tampa General Chase into a single Cessna, November 2371 November. Been advised he took off from St. Pete. The 15-year-old student took off with the unauthorized clearance. We're trying to get him hand signals to maybe get him landed Peter all night. However, he doesn't seem to be responding, and we may impede on your airspace here, sir.
Coast Guard 6013, routing your radar.
It was bedlam down here. There were people who came and they were looking at the plane. The plane was hanging outside of the building, but the wings were on the ground right around here. I've got some shots. I've got some pictures or video of the wings. Both the wings clipped off and they landed down here on, what is this street? Ashley Drive, like a major thoroughfare. Wings from a plane just flew, just landed right here. It's right along here. You see a fire hydrant in the background. I'm not sure if that's the one. And then right here, another one. I mean, it's just nuts to have wings from a plane landing down while you're driving. I mean, that's just crazy. You're looking up and seeing a plane sticking out of a building in your town, anywhere your home is, and then the wings are on the ground. There was panic.
It was a scary sight for those who witnessed it. Scott Murphy says the low-flying plane caught his eye.
I was looking on the other side to see if it was going to pass by the building, and then I looked back and then saw it hit it, and heard pop, no explosions, no nothing.
And another thing about what was going on is every city was on high alert still. There was, I mean, if you remember the aftermath of September 11th, for a full week, it was something's going to happen here. There's a terrorist attack going to happen here, there. You know, there's the anthrax, and everybody, nobody knew what was going to happen next. And Tampa had actually got a legit terrorist threat that was being investigated by the FBI that 2 nuclear warheads were headed toward Tampa. So the mayor got a call, other police officials got a call. The city wasn't alerted because they weren't sure yet. They didn't want to set panic off. But they flew 2 helicopters, I believe it was, or 2 planes, it would be 2 planes I think, over every ship approaching the harbor. Because the harbor's right here, they're not too far from here. And there's a military base here. So they were like, you know, are they attacking the harbor? Are they attacking the military base? You know, it's a port as well. Things coming in. So they flew planes over the ships trying to detect if there were any nuclear warheads inside. Thankfully, there were none, and there was no threat. I mean, maybe there was a threat, but there was nothing done. Thank God. Now, an investigation followed the incident, of course. Please leave from my shot. And officials ruled out terrorism, but eyewitnesses said the plane made no apparent attempt to avoid the building. It was right, this is the angle I was looking for more, right around there. But officials finally suggested that the crash was an apparent suicide. In addition, a note found in the wreckage stated that Charles Bishop voiced support for Osama bin Laden. But there's no evidence that he had any connection to the terrorist group. Now the note, I don't know why I yelled it like that. Now the note was actually found in the wreckage, and I'm gonna just get my piece of paper here and read the note that he left. If I've got it right here, give me 1 second. Yes. I have prepared this statement in regards to the acts I am about to commit. First of all, Osama bin Laden is absolutely justified in the terror he has caused on 9/11. He has brought a mighty nation to its knees. God blesses him and the others who helped make September 11th happen. The U.S. will have to face the consequences for its horrific actions against the Palestinian people and Iraqis by its allegiance with the monstrous Israelis, who want nothing short of world domination. You will pay, God help you, and I will make you pay. There will be more coming. This is all with a lot of exclamation marks. Al-Qaeda and other organizations have met with me several times to discuss the option of me joining. I didn't. This is an operation done by me only. I had no other help, although I am acting on their behalf. And no, he didn't have any connection with them. He tried apparently and was rejected. I've read that. He tried to join Al-Qaeda. A 15-year-old American boy tried to join Al-Qaeda but was refused. But I mean, even Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda at the time, they denied any involvement with him, which, you know, you think they would want to take credit for it, but they did not. So there are other things about the incident. Authorities confiscated a computer from his house, trying to determine a motive. There are 2 other unrelated crashes that day, same day. But they were just plane crash. Sad, of course, but not just plane crash, but had nothing to do with this or 9/11. In April of 2002, transcripts obtained from the FAA revealed new details, and especially one about how close the plane came to flying into a Southwest Airlines aircraft. Now, Charles Bishop's mother filed a $70 million lawsuit against Roche Laboratories, who make an acne medication called Accutane. According to her claim, she said that it had side effects such as depression, suicidal actions, and she said that was the cause of the incident. In 2007, she dropped the lawsuit, saying she was physically and emotionally unable to continue the action. Now, you got to understand, this is a mother who I'm sure had no clue what her son was up to, and was looking for answers, and may have read about Accutane and its side effects, or what possible side effects, which had never been proven, I don't think. So she's looking for answers about why her young son, this is her little boy, you know, it's her child that did this. So she's looking for answers. or is she, that's how I'm going to stick to it. I know what people were going to say, just trying to cash in or whatever, but, she wants to blame somebody, and it's kind of what a mother wants to know why her son did something. A mother wants someone to pay, not just financially, but, she wants somebody held accountable for the actions that happened to her son. But he took that plane, he flew it himself, and he flew right there. And we're looking right about there. Now, just to give a little bit of context about Charles Bishop, because I did in fact read some more about him. His mother had a quote that said, "This is a news story for the rest of the world, but for me, he was my life and my son, and it's extremely difficult to have this thrown into my face all the time." His teachers and friends remembered him as a very bright student, a student who was always pleasant and respectful, with a poor complexion, and he loved his flying lessons and hoped to join the Air Force one day. I mentioned the complexion due to the Accutane and what they say are the side effects of that, or what they claimed. Now, of course, after 9/11, everything changed about air travel. We all know that if we've flown. Taking our shoes off, the liquids in the bags, everything changed. And everything about air travel changed. It's much safer now, we hope, and we hope it continues to be safe. But after this incident, more security measures were taken. Just from this one solitary incident. The FAA released a security notice on January 6th, which was just one day after the incident. And the notice includes security of the aircraft and regulations pertaining to underage flight students. In addition, the EAA, which is the Experimental Aircraft Association, I'm, again, not a pilot, but from what I read, that's Experimental Aircraft Association. Another small aircraft organization proposed more security of flight schools and small aircraft. While authorities stated that the crash was due to an abuse of trust rather than a security breach, others argue for the need of increased security due to the simplicity of such actions. So when I was reading about the story, there's not a lot on it. I mean, there's lots of news reports from back in the day, but it's kind of been forgotten, like I said. And it was never, it was officially ruled a suicide. But I don't think, I think Charles Bishop, the boy, was trying to injure others. I don't think he was doing it to specifically kill someone. I think it was a copycat. Copycat crime, which we hear about all the time, and which was one of the biggest fears after 9/11, and the biggest fears after any giant crime happens, a giant attack, is the copycat. So it seems like he was trying to do the same thing, but he's not flying gigantic. He wasn't flying a gigantic aircraft. He was flying a Cessna, which could still do damage. And nobody was injured in the building. There were people working above, and they're fine. The fire was out pretty quickly. I did not say that. There was nobody else injured except for the pilot, for Charles Bishop, whose life ended right there by flying a small plane. I don't exactly, when you're a kid that age, you don't think things through. A Cessna, small plane, is not going to do the same amount of damage as the types of planes that were flown on 9/11 that did the damage. I don't think he thought that through. And thankfully, like I just said, no one else was injured. And I hope his mom has found some peace. I don't think she has, probably, after this. It's been, 21 years now since the incident here in Tampa, 21 years. I'm sure she's, still grieving the loss of her son. I don't know anything really about what he was like. But, he was an Al-Qaeda sympathizer and really messed up. Really messed up. Gonna come to Tampa. You got to come downtown and do a little walk around. It's got some great architecture, some great buildings. I mean, you know, comparing Toronto, where's that Go Bolt sign? There's another one. Comparing Toronto's downtown, Toronto's downtown is about 100 times bigger than Tampa's downtown. Like, we have tons of skyscrapers and it's just huge, but we don't have those. And that's pretty cool to see palm trees in the middle of a financial district. I mean, you know, if you want to find out, you know, you just lost everything in your stocks, you're wiped out financially, at least you come outside into the beautiful sun and look at some palm trees, and that makes everything all better. And then you go home and tell your family, yep, we lost it all. But hey, it's Florida. There's that sign. So Tampa is beautiful. Big shout out to my friends Tampa J and Chris the Girl. If you don't watch their channels, they're both based out of here and they are awesome. That's the story of Charles Bishop and the Cessna that he flew into the Bank of America financial tower right behind me. I'm gonna go grab some coffee. I've not had coffee yet, so I've been a little tongue-tied. I had a little small one in the hotel before I left, but I need a big one. That's what starts my day off for real. There it is right there. Very, very, very well-known story of the time, maybe forgotten by now. And Charles Bishop, I don't know, man. I don't know, kid. I don't know what you were thinking. Thank God you didn't hurt anyone else. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Peace out.